Okay, talk about what this kind of stretch has been like for you, right? I know anytime you suffer a setback, you want to get right in there and get it back. And then, you have to withdraw, and then you have a change of opponent and all that. So what's this stretch been like for you?
Honestly, it's been brutal. You know what I mean? Like right after the Jimmy Rivera fight, like I got right back in the gym. I wanted to fight as soon as possible, just because that was just such an awful performance. And you want to put those behind you as fast as you can in this sport. You don't want to sit on a loss. I hate that. And so, literally, the first guy that comes up is Merab, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta fight this little monster. Okay, fine, I'll do it. And I tear my back up. I asked for it to get pushed back a couple weeks. They can't make it happen. And then, lo and behold, he doesn't even end up fighting. We get rescheduled. 2 opponent changes. Now we're here. But hey, it was worth the wait. I think Askar Askar is the kind of guy that I can have a highlight reel type performance. And I couldn't be more excited. And I don't have to cut weight. I mean, that's the hardest part of the whole game for me. Getting down to the 135-pound dot is hard. It's brutally hard. And not having to do that and, fighting a new guy, like, I don't get breaks like that. You know what I mean? It's literally hammer after hammer after hammer. It has been since the beginning. I've been, 2-1, 3-1 underdog, and like I was 4 fights in a row where I was an underdog, and now I'm finally getting a fight that I should be a favorite, and it's honestly it's weird. I don't even really know, because it's always like I'm going in there and everyone's thinking that I'm going to lose, and I'm going into a fight and everyone's like, yeah, I think Cody's going to do pretty well. I'm like, oh, really? Cool, thanks. Really?
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, is that I don't want to say difficult at all, but I mean, like, this guy's got everything to gain, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He comes in short notice, so what? But he takes you out, and all of a sudden it's like, wow. So I mean,
he's the man, right?
Right. So I mean, did that factor into you? I mean, did you have to think about that at all when they offered up?
No. I verbatim, and I'll show you the text message. I told my manager, I was like, if anyone steps up after Merab got COVID, anyone, I'm saying yes. And then Andre stepped up, and I couldn't remember who he was. Like I couldn't think of. I'm like, damn, who is that? And so I'm literally at practice asking guys like, who's Andre Ewell? Like, who is this guy? Like, tall southpaw. I'm like, oh, shit. I was fighting a short wrestler, you know what I mean? Now I'm fighting a tall southpaw boxer. I'm like, all right, who's tall? I need to train with him right now. Because this was like right at the 3-week mark. So everything gets switched up, and then it gets switched back. But I was just at a point where I didn't care, you know what I mean? There had been so much work in preparation for Merab that I was at a point where it was like, dude, anybody that was willing to step up and fight me, I'm going to take the fight. I don't care. Stylistically, I don't give a shit what it means.
Did you have a chance to watch any tape? I mean, have you tried to break him down at all, or is it so short notice that you just think, let's just go in there and rock it and see what happens?
Yeah, I watched some tape. I got an idea like what he likes to do, kind of what his go-to things are. I think the kid, honestly, wins most of his fights wrestling, which I couldn't have painted this better. You know what I mean? Somebody that takes people down, and that's how they win fights. If there's one thing I trust in my MMA game more than anything, it's my wrestling defense and my ability to scramble. So, like, if you can take somebody and be like, okay, what's the best stylistic matchup for you? Orthodox, same height, and the guy likes to wrestle. I'm like, give me that fight every single day. That's why I took the Merab fight. And this is just kind of like a less experienced, less tenacious Merab, if I'm looking at it like plainly.
Yeah, your mindset's obviously sharp right now. I'm just curious kind of what you feel like about where you stand in your career, right? Like you said, you fought nothing but killers. The talent is clearly there, but you're always like, just when it gets to the point, you stumble down a little bit, right? I mean, is it frustrating, or what's the feel like right now?
I feel like I've just made bad decisions. The Jimmy Rivera fight was a bad decision. Like, I was not prepared for that fight. Obviously before I had all that heavy stuff going on in my personal life, I have a good performance against Brian Kelleher, and I should have taken time. I should have taken time mentally, physically to heal before jumping into a fight. And honestly, the only reason I took the fight was because I wanted the distraction. You know what I mean? I wanted something to take my mind off of the realities that were happening in my life. And so I fight Jimmy Rivera, and I kind of let my ego tell me that I can do this, But Jimmy's not the guy that you fight on a week's notice. Jimmy's the guy that you know what I mean? You take months to prepare for, because you don't just walk over Jimmy Rivera. I mean, many people have tried, and it's never worked out for him. I mean, if you look at his fight before him and I fought, I mean, he fought Peter Yan, and he's winning 14 minutes of that fight. he's a tough dude, and you need to be prepared for fights like that. So I mean, if I'm looking at my career, I'm looking at it as just mistakes I've made. Fighting Aljamain Sterling, my fourth UFC fight, probably not the smartest thing. I should have fought Brian Caraway, beat him, and then maybe slowed my roll a little bit. But I just get so ahead of myself, and I'm just so convinced that like it doesn't matter that you put anybody in front of me. But there's a level of experience, and like these OGs have it. You know what I mean? They know like, and now I guess with almost 10 UFC fights, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to figure things out. You know what I mean? There's a lot more to this game than just saying yes to fights. I mean, it's got to be smart. You got to be a little bit more meticulous with the choices that you're making. You can't just, rush in, balls out, thinking that you're just Superman, because there are some bad dudes in this division. You know what I mean? There's a handful of guys that could kick anyone's ass on any given day. So, you got to be smart. And if I'm being smart, there's absolutely no reason why I can't be the UFC champion. You know what I mean? Like, I have every tool that it takes to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's just a huge hole in my game where it's like, well, yeah, his boxing's okay, but, if we just stay at kicking range, he can't do anything. Like, I have the answer to all those questions. Like, I can beat anyone if you give me the opportunity to prepare. But it's like I rush into these things and I make bad decisions. But now I'll never do it again. You know what I mean? I made the mistake, and I'm wise to it. I'm not doing it again. I'm going to be smart about my career from here on out, and that is going to be the reason that, I'll move forward.
That's awesome. Well, Saturday could be the first step in that direction, right? So what's the goal overall, man? I mean, is it just go in there and just get a win, whatever it takes, get back on the the right side of things, or is it you feel like you said it could be a highlight? Do you feel like you need to go in and make it a highlight?
I got to kill him. I got to absolutely kill him. Yeah, I think in my head, like, there's a million ways to beat him. I could walk out there, shoot one time, shoot a double leg, get on top of him, and I could just do that the entire time and just grind him out and make it nasty and make it ugly. No one would want to watch it. Everyone would be like, well, who's fighting next? I know that I can do that. Like, that's not a question. But I think when you get an opportunity like this, you need to capitalize on it. You need to be spectacular, and that's exactly what I plan to be. You know what I mean? I mean, I've got things that I do well that I've never even shown in the octagon. So I'm not planning on just beating Askar Askar. I'm planning on absolutely dismantling him. I mean, I don't think this guy's ever going to want to fight in the UFC again after Saturday night. It's getting hot up here.
Drop the mic right there, son.
Kick this fucking table over. I'm out of here, dude. Cool? All right, cool.
Thanks, God. Appreciate it.